All right, everybody. This is Kelly Williams with The Kelly Williams Show and Your Home TV. And it's time for The Kelly Williams Show.
Yay.
All right. Today, I cannot even tell you how excited I am and what an honor because I am about to interview Trey and Michele Ganem of A SoulShine Foundation. And in the middle of loss and pain, they quietly do something impactful and beautiful for struggling families. And we're going to find out all about it. So grab your coffee. We're going to be right back with these amazing people and hear their story. All right. Okay, so good morning, Trey and Michele. How are y'all?
Morning.
We're doing good.
We're good.
Good. Well, I told you I already got my Kleenex ready. I got a big old pile right here. There you go. And viewers, if you're not ready, make sure you grab it because it's going to be that kind of a show. This amazing couple is doing something that a lot of us can't even imagine, really, or think about that they've been doing. So we're going to find out a little bit about them. First of all, Trey and Michele, where are y'all from?
I'm from Victoria, Texas. We're kind of in the middle of everything down here in South Texas. So
yeah, love that. Michele, where are you from?
I grew up in the little small town of Edna, just down the road from Victoria.
Okay, nice. Nice. That's great. Okay, so if people don't know, y'all are married, and and you have a very interesting story about how you met. Can y'all tell us how you met and how long have you been married?
Well, it was interesting how we met. I had just broken up with a girlfriend that I had, and my sister did nails. It was kind of funny. So, she's like, hey, I have this girl that I want you to meet. And it wasn't Michele, by the way. So I was single and I trolled into her office as she was doing nails. And actually, Michele was in that day. And my sister asked me if I was going to go to her daughter's dance recital. And I was like, well, I really don't have anybody to go with. So she had told me Michele thought I was cute. So I was like, okay. I knew who Michele was, but I hadn't really had talked to her. So I bumped her and I was like, hey, you want to go to the recital with me tonight? And she's like, it was kind of funny, but her perspective is a little bit different. I had lost my girlfriend, about 6 months prior, I guess. And Michele had just lost her husband in a car accident, a few months earlier. So we had that in common, and I'll let her take over because I'll just keep on going. But there you go.
Wow.
Yes. When we had met before through a mutual friend, but I was, of course, not looking at finding anyone at the time. I just lost my husband. I just had my son, Billy, 3 weeks after the fact. So I had 2 young little kids, but anyways, ended up going to the dance recital with Trey. We have been together and inseparable ever since, and we've been together for about 28 years now. But I do believe, our experiences, what we went through, definitely has a part in our relationship and our mission for what we're doing for people.
I completely agree. What a amazing story of how God brought you two together. Yeah. It's really amazing. And I want to say good morning to producer Shelly because she's the one that actually got all of this booked, and I'm so grateful for her. So she's telling everybody good morning. Hey, Shelly.
Morning.
And I just want to let everybody know, viewers, you are welcome to comment. If you have a question or just want to say hi to Trey and Michele this morning, you can let us know where you're watching from. You can ask a question and we will try to ask it live on the air for you this morning during the show. So I just wanted to let people know that. Okay. So Trey, customizing caskets. I honestly, I'd never even heard of it or seen it until Shelly sent me your information. And I thought, I've got to meet these people. First of all, when did this start for you? What was it that made you even think to start doing something like this?
Well, I had a friend in high school that passed away. And when I went to his service, I was looking up there and thinking, why is he in this like grandma casket? He was a young kid and didn't really want to look at the casket. I'm like, we hunted together back then. And I'm like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had camouflage or deerskin interior, something that would bring back the campfire stories, about this person's life. It's not about painting a casket. It's about representing their life. And so the funny thing about that is when I told Michelle when we met, hey, I want to do casket. She's like, okay, weirdo, you want to what? It's one of those things until she actually saw one of the caskets that we did. And she's like,
well,
I get it.
And also, going back to my story, being such a young age, walking into the funeral home, my first husband was very young, and you walk into a room and this is what you get to choose from.
Yeah.
Some plain caskets, but it was like, but he loved motorcycles. He loved this, he loved that. And I went, well, I guess I'll just take the silver one because that's all I get to choose from. So when I did see the very first one and saw what it did for the families and how it just kind of starts the healing process, it's a little bit easier to see their loved one and something that represents their life. It takes a little bit of that sting out.
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. And that is so true. And anybody who's been through having to go pick out a casket or handle all of these details, there's, you feel like you're doing almost nothing personal for your loved one that is now not on earth anymore. And it's this wonderful way to celebrate them in such a better way. Trey, do you remember the very first casket that you customized?
I do. The one it is. There's many stories, but I do remember it. And there was, I guess I would say the most, but there was the little Ninja Turtle casket. We were actually on vacation, and I had just started doing this, and I had donated some caskets to some people in Edna, and we got a phone call from a friend of mine said his grandson passed away. And he's like, would I do a casket for him? And at that point, I had not done kids. I always thought about, I want to do people who live their life, and then I was like, sure, I will. And I said, what was he into? I was like, I am about to get on an airplane. I was like, but I will get it done and fly back home. I'll be home in 2.5 hours and make sure that everything gets situated. And he said he loved Ninja Turtles, kind of gave me a little bit about this little boy. And so I made a phone call to the company that I was buying caskets for at that time. And I was like, they come in different sizes, but the size of this little boy. And the guy I told him the situation. I said, it has to be done by Monday. This is Friday. I'm not getting in until like 6 or 7 in the evening.
Oh my goodness.
So he met me at the airport with this little casket. And so I put it into my vehicle, and on the way home, I'm trying to call every card party factory, everything. And it was close to Halloween. And I got in touch with one Halloween store in Houston, and the man stayed for me because I told him what we were doing. And it was like 10 o'clock before we got there. They hadn't even packed their stuff. And so we're going through boxes in the back looking for Ninja Turtle, a specific one, get it. And we take it, and she's a nervous wreck on the way. And, I painted a turtle shell on there and put the belt, and like, it was so cute. And I'm thinking, did I do too much? Did I not, how are they going to take this? Yeah. And so we took it there, dropped it off, met the grandfather there. He said, the family wants you to stay for the visitation. I'm like, I don't want to stay. This is literally, and she's nervous. And I'm like, I need a drink. So I said, we're going to Chili's and we're coming back in 2 hours for the service. So I go there and try to, just And when we get
Wow.
there, this is when things changed for me.
Yeah.
The mom came up to me and just hugging me and just, thank you so much. You don't know what you've done. And, we're standing there and I see this little boy. He is in a karate outfit, and I've never seen a little boy with a smile on his face. Like it was like, and the thing that really hit the mom was the little kids that came in and go, "Ooh, cool! Look, they're talking to their mom. Look at this little boy," and they're calling his name and said, "Look at him! I want one of those." Well, of
Oh
course
my
they don't
goodness.
want one, but
Oh.
it changed the whole concept of someone passing for these little kids. So when they walk in, and instead of parents having to do all the explaining and everything like that, it took that sting out, and the mom would just
Wow.
believe it. So anyway, that was the first one.
Amazing. Amazing. And what's so funny about you saying that, like once you do it, you're thinking, oh my gosh, did I do it right? Is it over the top? Did they just want a little turtle? I mean, you really don't know. Now, Trey, are you an artist?
Yes, I'm an artist. I was
Okay,
yes, I'm definitely an artist. Have been
Yeah.
since a little bitty guy, and always into, if I got a radio, I'm tearing it apart to look to see how it works and see if I can make it better. Stuff like that
Amazing.
when I was little. So
Yeah. Michele, when you got there, when y'all had gotten back from your trip and you saw how Trey worked to get this done for this little boy, and y'all walked in to the service, what's going through your mind thinking, oh my gosh,
Well,
look what just happened. Look at this. That's crazy.
yeah, being a mother myself, I am your typical mother hen. And when he's working on these, it's almost like I worry, because I'm like, I want it to be perfect. I want it to, represent them, and I want them to love it. And so I'm the big worry wart. And so the whole time we're traveling there, I just pray, because that's about all I can do. I'm not an artist or anything like that, but like he said, when the parents wanted us to stay, and we saw it through our eyes, like we saw through each person what that did for them, I knew then. I mean, it was like, yes, we're supposed to do this. This is what we're here to do through Trey's art and his compassion. But me being a mama, I'm going to make sure. Sometimes they don't like me at the shop because I'm a little picky at times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, maybe change this or do this. But Trey has a perfect eye and has he just can create it in his mind when the people call.
Wow.
And it always turns out perfect.
Well, they're amazing. They're incredible. And, I want to ask y'all, how many now, when did you start doing this? When did you start customizing your very first one? You told me 2016?
2012.
12. It's a long time. How many families do you think that y'all have served?
Hundreds. And when I mean hundreds,
There's probably thousands.
it's
getting there.
Yeah,
definitely. Amazing. I mean, when I mean hundreds, she's probably right. Probably, thousands of people. And it has been the hardest thing to do, because we're not accepted in the funeral industry. They were always said, okay, well, this is the Kat Von D and Jesse James of the funeral industry, and when I start, I sign my caskets, I pray over the caskets. For me, that is something that's very special. My son is helping us now.
Oh, my goodness.
So he paints for me now. And I'll never forget, he called me because I needed someone to drive a casket to this little girl that passed away that was in high school, I guess. Anyway, I did a cool paint job. I did a flat white, and it had like splatter paint on it.
Oh my goodness.
For this girl, and I needed someone to take it. And so I said, Billy, can you take this? And he's like, okay, and he'll tell you, he goes, he thought what we were doing is kind of weird, but he drove it there, and it was, I don't know, 9 hours away. And
wow.
he calls me, and he's crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, what happened? I'm thinking, did you get in a wreck? Or when he delivered the casket, the family wrapped him up and was loving on him and thanking him. And he's like, I don't care what I do in life, Dad. I want to do this. And I was like, Okay. I said, I'm glad to have you, you know, and so that's how he got incorporated into it. But at that time, I'm working 2 jobs and doing this, so I'm able to help families. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster for us. But the funeral homes just they don't accept us that much because
Yeah.
it takes away from their profit, and we don't do it for that. We do this to
No.
help families, and they don't offer things like we do.
No.
Um, and at
That's
the
a
time,
badge of honor, I think, not being accepted by that. You know.
We do have some that support us.
we do now for sure.
And I think they will see in time it's going to be more and more, and they have to accept them. There's a law. I mean, they have to accept
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
And we ship all over the United States.
Yeah.
Like literally, you're having a casket if you order it from us within 3 days, anywhere, even in Hawaii. And we've shipped there. We have this down as an art now.
Yeah.
And it's simple for us. But in the beginning, oh my goodness, and that's another story. But it's actually comical. Maybe you may ask this question in a minute, but I'll save it for that.
Yeah. Well, how long? Now, you just said that anybody can order one of these, and they can have it within 3 days.
Yes.
Which is, you think about it, that's about right. For normal planning and things like that they would need it quickly.
And typically we have it sooner than that, depending on where they are. But that would be unless it's like really crazy fabrication, like when I build the 57 Chevy cars with the headlights and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
That takes a little bit longer, not much longer, but it takes me being there to be able to do it, because Billy doesn't have the capability to do exactly that. I see it and I'm like, get out of my way. I'm coming in and I'm taking care of this. And it's wild. I'm 54, but I outwork everybody that's ever been at my shop. And I work barefoot too.
Nice.
Because I love to be grounded. And
Yeah.
for me, it is, and it's interesting, but it gets done.
I love that. How long does the process take to customize just one casket?
So we have a really good team.
Mhm.
Marisol's with us. She owns Soul Art here in Victoria. We have it down where I talk to the families. We decide on color, size of casket, because that matters. If we don't have it, we go get it at the warehouse, or it takes a day to get it. And sometimes that's why it delays us. And
Sure.
Oversized caskets are, we get asked for quite a bit, but children's casket, a lot.
Yeah.
But it takes us about 4 hours. So when I get that phone call, I talk to the family. We go over kind of what they want. I call her, get her, tell her what we're going to do. And then I get the family in contact with her. We start immediately on the casket while she's doing design. By the time that we have it sanded, she already has stuff finished. We get it proofed from the family to make sure that they like it. And within 4 hours, basically that casket is complete. And the way we're able to do that is we have a heated paint booth. We flip a switch in 30 minutes, the paint's dry. So
amazing.
Now, the first time I started doing this, they asked me how long did it take? And I'm like, well, 4, 5, 6 days. I don't know. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's not going to work, because we didn't have a heated paint booth and it was just me. Like literally, I don't think I slept much in the beginning. And she'll tell you that I would work my regular job and then go do caskets.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I wanted to do this. And I think there's one thing that I really would like to tell you, as far as I knew I was doing the right thing. And a friend of mine called me and said, hey, Dad passed away. Their dad was in a band. And he said he loved his pink guitar. He was a bass player. So he goes, if I bring it to you, can you do something special? I said, yes. So I was working on 2 caskets at that time.
Wow.
Finished that one, and I painted a guitar across the top of the casket, put strings on it, and it was identical to Dad. So I called them. It's probably 8:00 at night. And so they came over, and the sister was driving the 2 boys. So there was 3 family members, and they were drinking in my shop because they were, just whatever. Yeah. And I said, showed it to them. We hugged, and I said, I've got to get back to work. I said, you're welcome to stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
4 hours later, I walk over there. They're still there telling stories about their dad. Do you remember when Dad played at Schrader Hall with Uncle Vinny, and just telling stories. And I'm like, this is why I do what I do. Who stands in front of a casket that their dad's going to be in for over 4 hours to, reminisce and just tell the stories and what he loved doing?
No.
It's like, this is it. This is it. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you, so I was just going to ask you if you have two of your most memorable ones that you could, because you've done so many. This sounds like it was definitely one of them. That sounds unbelievable. Is there another one? And there's probably
yes.
many.
Yes, one of so I had surgery on my eyes, and anyway, my eyes were kind of swollen. I had stitches on the side, and I got a phone call that one of my good friends had passed away, and they do Kill 22. I don't know if you've heard of that, where it's 22 soldiers commit suicide every day. Well, he helped found that.
Oh my goodness!
And he was a double amputee.
Oh.
I wish I could have sent you this picture already. I didn't know, but
Wow.
He was a double amputee, and he couldn't help himself. He helped everybody else. And so when I got that call, I'm not supposed to be doing anything. Well, nobody else can do what I'm fixing to do.
Yeah.
And so I had
goodness,
legs brought to my shop, his prosthetics. And now he was a character, so you have to know this. I did a distressed American flag across the top with the eagle, and it says the eagle has landed. But I cut holes in the top of the casket, and I had his legs sticking up out of the top of the casket for his service. And that was his personality. And it's like everybody there just busted out laughing because that was him. He was always a character. They called him Jack in the Box because he'd always take his legs off, sit in a box, and just cut up and have fun. But that one was probably, for me, my eyes swole completely shut. Like,
wow.
Where I had a friend of mine he was a youth pastor at the church. He came over to help me. I don't remember where Billy was at that time, but it was just me by myself. And so I'm not even supposed to be standing up, I'm supposed to be relaxing, ice packs.
Oh,
and it looked like I had the just complete swollen eyes. I couldn't see out, and they went shut where I just had a sliver. So,
wow.
But I got it finished. Yeah. And that one was pretty amazing. And just because it represented him to a T, and, it took the sting out of what happened, and for everybody to be there, and it was pretty amazing.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Michele, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, yes, what like that one represented. That's what we do. We just literally whatever represented that loved one. And, some of the families will say, Trey, just, you do whatever. We trust whatever you come up with. But
I have a gift. So God's given me this gift. And most of the time people send me pictures of their loved one doing what they love, not like a, Ola Mills picture or something like that. But it's like, here's a picture, and I'm able to just create the most amazing thing. And time has a factor too. So
absolutely.
People say, well, can you draw me a picture of what you're doing? I was like, it's right here. I cannot draw it, but I promise you, I have not done one that people said that's not what I wanted.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's always been fantastic.
I love it. Guys, if you are just joining the show, I am right here with one of the most incredible couples in the world, honestly, Trey and Michele Ganem. They have led A SoulShine Foundation, and they customize caskets, and almost all donated to victims of tragedy, especially children, for these families. It's amazing. They're doing God's work. They're changing the world every single day for people in a positive way. You are welcome to say hi to them in comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you just want to say hi to them and thank them, please do that. Okay, so Trey and Michele, y'all have this nonprofit, Let A SoulShine Foundation. When did this start, and why was this so important to create a foundation for what you were doing?
I've done so many donations. and it's because I have a big heart. And in the beginning, it was like, I can't answer the phone because I'm giving everything away, you know. And
Yeah.
it's like, but you talk to me, and if I can't donate, I try to do it at cost, or just trying to keep the lights on. When I went full time, but everything was coming out of my pocket, and so after I did the Sutherland Springs shooting at the church, and we did 19 caskets in 3 days. And then a few years
That was
later,
for the Uvalde shooting, correct?
No, that was the 19 was Sutherland Springs, the church.
Wow.
So after that, the Uvalde thing came up, and that we didn't know what to do, and there were so many. But after doing that, people knew who I was, the head of the DPS, and some of the other organizations. Like, they had called me before it hit the news and asked if would I be able to help like I did in Sutherland Springs, because I stepped up then, and I'm like, yes, whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
And I was just floored. And then I'm like, how do we do this where we can have more donations so we don't have to tell families no? And that is where this came from, because people don't realize how much it takes to do and how much money is involved to do caskets. And an average casket, $4,800, so you're right at $5,000, not in shipping or whatever, but so it takes a lot. And I have sold almost everything I've had to keep this business going, because I have lived my life, and I have fun. Believe me, I have fun. And sometimes, I have to be grounded. That's why I run around barefoot. But that's why the foundation was started. And it took us a while to get it done. And the crazy thing is, we put it out there, and it was like, oh, it's just another foundation. So when the flood happened, I'm like, nope, we're going to step up, and we're going to do this. And we had $3,000 in our account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I had some caskets at the shop, but I had to go get more. And anyway, people started asking, hey, can we help? And now I can say yes, and we are a nonprofit. So that is how it got started and why. But the other thing is, I get calls every week, 3 to 4 calls for a donation for their kid that died because had cancer, a fire, and young families aren't ready. Most adult families are not ready for this now. And they don't, they're spending all their money because of healthcare is so expensive, and this, that, and the other, and to go and pay for all the stuff that they need for radiation and trying to get their family member better. They don't have anything in the end. And this is all started, quick rundown, with the 5 caskets we donated in Edna back in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, 2014. And we knew the family, and they lost everything. So that was really hard to do, because I knew the kids. They were just my kids. And I'll never forget what that dad told me. He came up to me, and they had the service on a football field. Because the whole school, it was amazing to see the outpour of the community when they came out. But he grabbed my neck and he said, you don't know what you did for me. And he said, when I looked out there, all the caskets were about the same size except the older brother. And he goes, I knew where my wrestler was. I knew where my princess was. I knew where my gamer was. He said, I knew, instead of looking out there going, who's in what?
Yes.
And I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
So that and after that, it made some coverage. Every phone call, I need a donation. I need a donation. I need a donation. And I'm like, man, I said, I hate letting anybody know. So that is kind of how the donations started, really. And they haven't stopped.
No. And this is what, we want people to understand, is that y'all are in the national news, of course, because of your generous heart for so many, national tragedies that have been happening in the Texas flood lately. But, y'all also have been donating to, like what you said, with families whose child just passed away from cancer, things that people may never know, that y'all do and give, from your heart. So, that is just, it's just so touching and inspirational what you do. You know, Trey and Michele, y'all have literally, we talked about, how little money in the account, and you've got all these calls coming in every week and things, and you're trying to donate it all yourself and do it and continue to pay for everything to help these families during these horrible grieving moments, and make something they can celebrate, for their child especially. And you've sold so many of your personal items and things that you have just to help pay the bills to help keep the foundation going. That's a really big deal. I mean, that's the utmost giving heart, and you told me before the show, you actually have a taxidermy business that people that you buy and sell, because that money goes to help pay to design the caskets and things. We're gonna talk about how people can give, but if you see the banner right here, everybody, you can go directly to soulshineindustries.com, and there's a button that says to donate. We want these amazing people to have all the money they need, to make sure they can keep helping these families with what they're dealing with. And it's incredible. And y'all talked about how much it costs just for one casket. And people who haven't had to bury anybody or haven't had to do this, they have no clue that it costs this much.
A lot of people ask me, it's like, okay, how much are your caskets? And then when they say, what are they, 10,000 and up? And I'm like, no, they're not. They're identical to what you would pay at a funeral home, except ours are custom. Amazing. Because I'm trying to pay it forward. So for me, to purchase a casket, bring it, paint it, design it, do our things to it. It's literally, a lot of people say, wow, well, I don't think we have enough time to get it, or it's going to cost too much. It doesn't. It is very comparable, and, apples for apples, except this apple's decorated and this one is not, exactly. That's amazing. Kind of the way that I tried to build the business in the beginning. And it's going, but it's been so hard. Like I said, it has been very hard. It's funny that tell what Gary said the other day. My buddy made a post that lives in town. He owns a oil field company.
So I love reading all the comments, once all the articles started coming out, because if you even look at some of those, you will see some of the families that we have touched and done caskets for. They started chiming in, started sharing pictures of the caskets that we did for them. But a good friend of ours knew. He said, come on, guys, let's help him out, because Trey's going to sell everything he has to help this thing keep going. And I just laughed, because I was like, well, he knows us very well. But I think, yes, we want to get the word out. And that's been the hardest part, is getting people to realize what we do. And, the more people can share, the more families we can help. And so we are, needing to get our social media and different stuff going. I think Trey and I aren't techie. He's the artist and I'm just the wife. So we may need some help with that part too.
Yeah, that's really the hard thing, is because we are so busy. And when I mean busy, I leave my house 4 a.m. to go to my shop. And I get home and 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And I'm wore out. It's kind of one of those things. I don't have time to stop, take pictures and post on and stuff like that. So I do minimal posts, because I'm like, I don't have time. And I know that's something we should try to make time, but as an artist, you know, my brain is in a whole nother direction thinking, okay, I got to get back there. I have this to do. I have that to do. It's emotionally draining for me. Not so much the physical labor. It's thought of what's coming next and logistics and making sure that it gets there. And, you know, did this get done? And then this one over here amplifies everything when I get home because she's like, well, did you do this and this? And she's trying to make sure everything's perfect. But I'm like, can I just like breathe when I get here? It's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Michele, you know, I want to ask you, y'all met 28 years ago. Or you've been married 28 years, but you met a little bit before that. And you were at the very beginning of when all this started. What have you seen and what do you think has been one of the biggest impacts on yourself watching what it does for these families?
Speak loud.
I know. I had to think a little bit. I guess going back to my, you know, just experiencing some of the first ones, because I just, you know, back when he first started, you know, it was like, or mentioned it, you know, not everybody was customizing everything. Now you customize your shoes, your phone, your whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, just experiencing personally what it does for these families. But even in this tragic, the flooding, and like I said, reading all the comments, and we were laying in bed and I was looking and I was like, babe, like, have you realized how many people you have impacted, how many lives you have helped? I mean, it's just, and I guess I know because I'm with him, and, you know, but until you see that feedback, until you hear those stories from our families, and we have plenty of them, we really do, where we meet them personally and, you know, get to hug each other. And, you know, I'm thankful to be a part of it. And I don't want to cry.
Well, the cool thing about is we really become family. Like, because I get to know their family members and things like that, and from all walks of life. You know, we became family members with Percy Sledge's family because I did his casket, and his daughter, and they came to our Christmas party. They drove 5.5 hours to come to our party that we had. But I mean, there's like, if I'm traveling through any state and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I know who lives here. We did caskets because we ship all over the United States. It's like, okay, well, we're going to stop and visit you when we have time. And we have, and it's great. And, you know, stop and, you know, we're coming through. Do you want to stop and have dinner? And so we sit down, and it's like, it is so nice to be able to know that. And this world is so small. We were in Jamaica at a funeral convention, of all things. We were invited to come down, and so we went, and I'm in the airport afterwards, and these two ladies were sitting over there, you know, kind of looking at me because I don't look normal most of the time. But anyway,
you kind of stand out in the crowd.
But I'm a jokester, so I'm like, what y'all looking at over there? You know, giving them a hard time, and they're like, what do? You know, or, you know, are you a tattoo artist? I'm like, no, I'm not, but I am an artist. You know, or I get, what band are you in? You know, all of this. And so I start talking to him and told him what I do. And they're like, oh, okay. And one lady said, you know what? She said, my grandson had a casket that a man donated to me, to our family in Chicago. And he loved his shoes. And it was, just, he was helping his dad carry boxes and stuff, and a shooting took off, and the little boy was accidentally shot, and they messaged, and I donated the casket. I was like, that was me. She got up and just like, and we're in Jamaica, so when you talk about how small
unbelievable
it is, and then so there's always that, where are you, you know, and somebody that I have impacted throughout this whole situation. They either know somebody who's had something, or, you know, has heard about. I know that is a beautiful thing, that, you know, and I was like, that's when God says at the ends of the earth, you know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of restricted to the U.S. because customs won't let me go past that. But I'm trying, you know.
That's right.
I think also, you know, just like you said, now my train of thought just left me.
But yeah, you know, and that was a donation for me. They didn't even ask for it.
Wow.
I saw what had happened and reached out and said, "Hey, look, I'd love to do a donation for you guys. I want something special."
Oh,
So
now I remember what I was going to say. When people experience death, especially with a very close loved one, it's like, you know, it's hard for even, you know, you can say, I'm sorry, but you don't really ever have the right words to say to take the pain away. But I can guarantee you from some of these families, what they experience with these caskets, it does help.
Absolutely.
It starts that healing process, and just to be able to do that little bit, because some people will say, well, yeah, they're just going in the ground. Well, it's not necessarily just for that person that has passed. It's for the family that is
Yes.
in that service experiencing that loss.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we got that a lot, you know, like, oh, well, why would we do that? It's just going in the dirt. Now, I'll tell you something else that's really cool that's happened to us 3 times that we know of. And so we built caskets, and one was in the Uvalde shooting.
Yeah.
And they were televised on one service. Well, it was one of the ones that we did. And she's calling me going, where's the casket? That is not the casket that we built. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to show the casket on TV or what was going on. So I called the funeral director and he said, oh, no, we had to get another casket because the family wanted to keep it and put all the keepsakes in it like a toy box. They said, no, it is too perfect. And that has happened 3 times.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's like, no, we're not burying it. We're keeping it. You put our loved one in this because we want this memory forever.
I mean, what a huge honor to have somebody tell you that. You know, that's just amazing. And it's you know, and well, like Shelly said, it's a celebration of their life, you know, and how people choose to use it, either or use it to bury their loved one in or keep it. You know, it's life-changing for so many people.
Michelle Michelle had somebody message her the other day for us, and her dad had actually bought a casket from me. And I painted a marlin on the side of it and had a real marlin bill sticking off of it. And she sent us a donation, which was but it was like
she was talking about how she was, you know, praying about where she wanted to donate for the flood. And she said, and then this, you know, article comes up about Trey, and she's like, I realized he was the one who did my dad's casket.
Amazing.
And he's like, so she said right there, I knew that's where my money was going, so that this can be, you know.
But it was funny the way she said it. Like she said,
she's like, I got on the website, and of course, there it is, the Marlin website. She said, my dad would not leave me alone about that casket. She said, so we made sure he got that Marlin casket.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, and this is so important for us to remind people today, is that so many people, you know, they're not able to, you know, it's limited on how many people can head out there, because they some areas are turning people away. You have to be involved with an organization. You know, you got to be careful. And they want to donate somewhere. They want to do something. They've been praying about it. Guys, this is where you can make a difference, literally a difference to help these families that will last forever for them. A touching, amazing way to help celebrate lives of their loved ones. Trey and Michele are doing it, and it's soulshineindustries.com. That's where you can donate. And their foundation is Let Us SoulShine. And, you know, this is the perfect place. If you've been looking for something, this is it. This is it. And this is why we wanted desperately to have them on the show today and interview them. There's so many people wanting to just say things. This is, y'all are such wonderful people. Met you years ago to Sweet Friend's funeral, 10 years old. horsefly riding accident. Y'all did amazing. Our representative, spunky, fun personality, took her for a ride.
I remember.
In y'all's big dually truck. I love that. I mean, this is yeah, love that. Love that. I mean, touching so many people all over the place. Do y'all know where the longest place you've sent a casket to?
Okay.
Do y'all remember?
I actually sent one to the UK. There was a family here and vacationing, and they were going to Disney World. And while they were here, their little one was in an accident, and we created a Mickey Mouse casket and shipped it to the UK. But typically, I mean, we've sent to Hawaii, Florida. I mean, everywhere across the U.S. But that's the furthest we sent. It got delayed in customs.
Oh,
Yep. So
what I kind of want to express also is, people donating, you're a piece of this puzzle. We can't do it without you. We can't do it without people in our community that come and volunteer their time to, help us get the caskets to where they need to be. If we have several of them, people come and help us send caskets, phone calls, food, gas. Like there's just so much that goes into it. And, a lot of people were like, well, I'm not a part of anything. I can't do, but that is your way of, you're still a part of SoulShine Industries, SoulShine Foundation.
A huge part, no matter how much
no
it is.
matter
Everybody's
what,
like, well, this is all it
or
doesn't
just coming
matter.
to help. Like, we're
pray
all,
for us too.
and people call
absolutely
and pray over us, and we need that just like anything else, just more so for strength and to get through each of these tragedies. But I just don't want people to think, oh, it's so small, because it's not. Your part is just as much as
It's
Trey
important.
Creating those caskets.
And what I tell, when people tell me that, I'm like, and they're like, this is all I can do.
Yeah.
That's as much as somebody giving me $50,000, because they could do that. If it's as much as, it doesn't matter, because all of that helps our purpose, whether it's, gas or any materials, everything has a part, and everybody plays a huge part. And we don't treat people different because they gave us, more or what. And we haven't had a tremendous part, but we have had people step up, which has been great, especially Valdi. And so, I mean, it's just like every now and again, and then it's like it comes in waves, and it's almost like, are they still in business? They ask us, because I'm like, well, yes, we haven't posted a whole bunch. Well, it's because I've been hustling to try to make lights on. I don't have time for all of that.
Exactly.
But, and to see people chime in that we've done, and I remember Piper.
Well, where is your workshop located?
It's in Edna, Texas.
Edna, because if there's anybody out there that knows anybody that has any social media skills, that they can go and donate some time to help these amazing people do that, please go do it. Please log on and connect with them and say, I can help. This is a way I can help you, and donate my time. God calls us in all different ways with our talents and blessings, and guides our heart how we can help, something like this. So do what you feel like you're being called to do. And every little bit helps. Like we were just saying, every little thing. If you want to volunteer, call them, contact them. How much, or do y'all have like a certain amount of money that you're trying to raise right now? Because you're still, like you said, the flood victims, those things, those just keep coming in.
I had a message this morning. But as far as that goes, I don't want to put, like, right now, yes, I would say we need money, because not only is it for this tragedy, because this is a televised, tragedy, so people see it. Yeah. But there's so much every day that people overlook, because it is not televised. It's not put out there. And we don't want to just help people that have been on the news. Exactly. And we do this every day. So this is not a gimmick for us to go, okay, we're going to do this and be on the news. We do this every day.
Yeah.
What this does for us is make people aware there is a place where they can actually send money that will help people. Because
Yeah.
I've talked to a bunch of families that have called and sent me some donations and stuff and said, look, I was a victim during the fire that it took my home and everything. And you hear about all this money. She said, we got nothing.
Yeah.
And, they said they sent it there. Well, where did it go?
Yeah.
She went to apply for a loan to rebuild. Well, she had no assets. She didn't even get a loan. So she's like, I am definitely sending it here because I know what it is used for, used to help families in need. It's just, it's beautiful how we do this. And, it is needed, not just for this, it's needed for everyone that calls. That's why we do this. And it's
Absolutely.
And every call that we get is a typically legitimate call. Usually I'll get a call from a funeral home that says, hey, I have a family here that can't afford this. Is that something you can help us with? Even though they haven't used us, they want to get that so they're able to let this family have a service.
Absolutely.
If it's somebody that really needs it. I've had hospice nurses call us, and that's something they don't want to put out there because people need hope. Same thing as how we're able to do some of these caskets that have, trademark characters or things like that.
Yeah.
We don't sell Mickey Mouse caskets. We don't sell Superman caskets.
Yeah.
This little kid that died of cancer, and we're putting that design on, which we don't charge for the design. We're basically charging for the casket, or now we're donating, with the foundation, we're able to donate.
Yeah.
That has been probably, for us, we want to offer this for people who need it. So it is, I've talked to about everybody there is, Make-A-Wish Foundation, this, that, and the other. And people don't think about, it's like, okay, well, how come they don't hand these brochures out? Well, they're not here to not give you hope. It's called Make-A-Wish for a reason. We want to try to keep this, person, give them what they want, not
exactly
casket. Casket, your hope is out the door. We already know they're going to pass, and we don't want to promote that. So,
it's amazing. Well, and what we want to reiterate, guys, they're donating. Most of these things that they're donating. It's not costing these families anything.
Nothing.
This is what we need your help for, because this is a way that you can help directly keep this foundation going and help these, literally, y'all are angels on earth, continue to help so many families in the time that they're struggling.
And it is a 501c3 company, so it is a nonprofit. It's not just a foundation. It is a nonprofit where they're able to write off their donations no matter how big or small it is. So
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So if somebody wants to volunteer or they want to donate, is the soulshineindustries.com where they need to go?
Soulshineindustries.com has the donate button, so it'll go straight to it. And they're able to just donate through that link, because there's been so many people start fake stuff about us with Venmo accounts and this, and they'll put my name with an extra, asterisk or a number 1 behind it with my picture. And we don't do that. If you don't talk to me personally, the link is how your money goes to where it's supposed to go. And it's not a scam, because we get that a lot. So yes, please click on that, or if you mail it, the address is on there. I mean, it'll come directly to us. And a lot of people like to mail in a check, which is fine and not an issue with that. But it's 304 Northeast Street, Edna, Texas, 77957. And it's SoulShine Industries. But if you're doing a donation, please put it to Let Us SoulShine Foundation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to pull this back up. She's been friends with y'all, and she said, Trey, if you need some hands on deck, I can come. Just let me know. If you need one transported, I can try and make that happen too. This is what also is so wonderful about anybody that can help do that.
It's been great. People have stopped, and I call them my road warriors, because they stop in and they're like, okay, we're going to take a casket. Where do we need to go? And they'll come and bring trailers and trucks. And You know, what we've had this last time has been great because it saves us on time. You know, it's like we're working here, somebody picks it up, we load them, and I'm going to pick up stuff here or there. We've had people offer to bring caskets to us, and you know, this we have it down for, you know, tragedies like this as far as our clockwork. In Bandera, you know, that area up there, it is, they have the same thing. I used to work up that way. I lived in Kerrville area,
Wow.
all of that. And so I have Justin at Graphics House in Bernie. He
Yeah.
has been a tremendous help. He's helped us with the Uvalde.
Oh,
We've become great friends since then. And when this happened, he said, I'm here. And so he meets me on the road and he'll have a trailer. We load him up. He takes them back and he'll actually talk to the families, do the graphics. And he's in that area, help with deliveries. So yeah, Graphics House has been really good on this end too.
wonderful.
Old Justin, he's a good dude. So, and without these people, we wouldn't be able to do this, you
Because
know?
we're very small, and
Yeah.
we're hoping, you know, as this gets larger, we can expand. But right now, it's very small.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so I had a friend drive in from Houston. He brought me a casket. And he
Oh,
turned around and he took it to the airport. Him and his wife, Jimmy Key's brother,
oh,
and his wife, they came to my shop. He waited for us to do the graphics on it. We loaded it up. And he took it to the airport, and that one went to New Jersey. In a mix of everything else we were doing, I had 3 donations that I donated in the middle separately
Wow.
that weren't Hill Country related,
Yeah.
but this little boy drowned. And they called, and it was the nurse from the school called me and said, I
Wow.
saw what you're doing. Is there any way you can help me with this family? And I'm like, do you know how busy I am right now? I was like, but I tell you what, when is it? And she told me, and it was like 3 days away. I was like, can you pick it up from the airport? And she
Oh,
said, yes, we'll figure it out. And so we
wow.
put it on the airplane, and it really didn't take but 2 hours of our time
Wow.
because of the volunteers and the people that have stepped up to help
Yeah.
us. So
Absolutely.
those are huge, you know.
Absolutely. What about I mean, what about people that own private planes? Is that something that, you know, if
I do
they're
need a
able
vacation.
to carry, are they able to carry? I know it depends how big they are, I guess.
Yes.
Um,
Typically, if it's a kid's casket, yes, it can fit in
Okay.
that. But
but does
you
it
know,
usually have to fly on a commercial vessel?
they do, and for us to fly a casket is, you know, it's packed and ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know, most of the you know, people who own private planes, it
Yeah.
is, I mean,
Be a lot of cost.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
cost for them, and I don't expect that because it would be easier for somebody to drop it off at the airport because I can schedule it in like
Okay.
5 minutes and they just drop it off.
Yeah.
And the airport handles it, and it's something they do every day. Now, if it's, I mean, yeah, I would love that, but
Yeah.
in the same sense, I know what it costs to fuel a jet. My friend has one, and
Absolutely.
he's offered 2, and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I'm not going to put you out like that just
Yeah.
because they're not equipped to carry a casket.
Yeah.
You can barely get luggage on a personal plane.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, some of them, but you know,
Yeah.
on the same sense, it's a. I've had people call even with trucking companies. Hey, we have a trucking company. Can I do this? And it's like,
Oh,
it's much easier to put it on an airplane.
yeah.
I mean, I hate that because I'm like, yeah, and you know, like, well, we're going that direction. Well, then I'm worried about how it's handled on the truck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that they would damage it, but typically, you don't want to send an 18-wheeler to pick up a package
Yeah.
and drive it 11 hours to
Yeah.
20 hours one direction
Yeah.
for one little casket when we can take it to the airport for like $400 or $500.
Yeah, exactly.
There in 2 hours.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so Trey and Michele, I want to ask you this before we come to an end of the interview today. But what advice would each of you give families who may see this show, may hear about you, may see about what you're doing? What advice would y'all give them if they're thinking that this may be what they want to do for their loved one?
Well, I would not really give advice, but I would, everybody's been to a funeral service, everybody. And if they've actually had to walk in to pick out a casket,
Yeah.
that is the last thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. I don't want anybody to have to go through that, because after you talk about everything, then you go to the casket room, and
Yeah.
no matter how many bells and whistles it has on it, they're still silver. They all look the same. And it's like, yeah, just like Michelle said, "No, just give me that one," because, and,
Yeah.
for us, we take that away, and people actually ask me all the time. I'm kind of excited that I'm able to, is that wrong? And I'm like, no, it's not wrong. You're doing something special. And when they're telling me about their family member, then kind of design, I can hear their voice change when something is really like, oh wait, no, he loved this, or she loved
Yeah.
that. It changes. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's going,
Mhm.
we're putting that. And yes, we can incorporate all that. Um, it is the most touching experience that you would ever do.
Yeah.
Literally.
We also
Yeah.
understand that in that time, you're not fully thinking. It's hard to put all those, uh, you know, make all the arrangements. We understand that, but you can call us first,
Okay.
or if you go to the funeral home and you just let them know that you are getting a custom casket from us. But
Okay.
it can be as simple as their favorite color.
Okay.
And just remember, this is your like last, we don't call it their last resting bed, their last resting place, but just something that represents their life, what you remembered them by, the
Yeah.
great things that you got to experience with that person. And it's almost an honor. We tell our families it's an honor to represent your loved one.
Yeah.
For me, it's for them to reach out to me and to trust me with that.
Yeah.
That is, and I tell everybody, it's not my art, it's my heart, because anybody can paint a casket, like
Yeah.
literally, and it happens all the time. We get people that, oh, well, we're painting caskets and donating, and
Yeah.
it's not about that. For us, good. I'm glad that they're able to do something, but they're not doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's what gets me, because it's like, there's a passion and a purpose behind our mission, and it is to help families. And my sign above my shop, inside, is we're here to impact one family at a time.
Absolutely.
And now we're doing it multiple, but each
Yeah.
one is impacted different, and we're here on this earth for that reason, and that is my purpose. It's like, I know why I'm here. It's not about me. It's how can I help you?
And during one of the most, hardest times of their lives, losing someone, and we've been there, and it's just to see something that's a light in the darkness, will help that moment in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hard time.
So
Absolutely.
I just had to do my dad's casket
Yeah.
less than 2 months ago,
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
that one was pretty hard.
Yeah.
But amongst that, still haven't had time to grieve, because everything has happened so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and I
But
keep
people
powering
walked
through.
up and like, yep, that was Emil. He loved his poker and his, cigars and this, and that's
Oh, I
what
love
brings
it.
that's what brings to the service. It's just a little lighter.
Yeah.
It's just a
Absolutely.
little lighter and not so sad. Yes, you've lost your loved one. That will continue on, but when you can celebrate them and tell those stories, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. I did the bar that you hold to carry, made it look like a cigar, wrapped it with the paper in the end.
Oh no.
Um,
So good.
and then I put him on top of the casket. It looked like a roulette wheel, the top where you place your bets and stuff. It was really neat.
Oh, I love it.
So my dad, but yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean,
love it. Well, and what's really, really great about what y'all do is that it's coming from your heart, because you've both lived through loss, and you've seen what it does to help so many families when these times come and it's unexpected, and that you give from your heart so freely. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's what that's what we're supposed to do, is use our blessings and our talents to help others, and do it freely. And, I'm so proud of y'all. I can't even tell you, what an amazing honor it has been for me to interview you today. Producer Shelley and I are actually going to come visit you personally as well in the very near future, and see what it's like at your place, and kind of talk about it there and let people see on hand. But thank y'all so much for what you're doing every day. Guys, please share this show. This will also be airing on the Your Home TV network very soon. Please share it. If you need to donate somewhere, if you want to volunteer somewhere, here it is. Here it is for those of you whose heart's been hurting because so much has been happening. Here you go.
Thank you, Kelly.
So, sorry.
Thank you for having us and sharing the word, because that's what needs to be done. People need to know it's out there, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank y'all for being just angels. Really. We appreciate y'all so much. So, cannot wait to hug you and see y'all in person. And thank you for everything that you're doing.
You're welcome,
you.
very much so.
People.
And still keep the families in your prayer also.
Yes, every day. And
'Cause
we'll keep y'all in our prayers too.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Every day. So thank y'all so much. Guys, thank y'all. Look.
That's my mama.
Your mama. Hi, Zora. Oh, wonderful. Yes, we're so proud of them too. Love this sweet couple. Thank you guys so much. Guys, go to soulshineindustries.com. Follow them on Facebook. If you have any questions, you can DM the Kelly Williams Show. You can DM them. We will forward any information we have. If there's anybody that can donate any social media stuff for this couple and this wonderful organization, please let them know. It's a great way to give of your talents and to help something that is helping so many people every single day in this world. Thank you guys. Again, we love you. We're praying for you. And thank you for everything that you are doing to make such a positive difference in the world.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you so much. Guys, you can watch the Kelly Williams Show anytime on the Your Home TV network. And we hope you have an awesome and blessed rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.